Welcome to the first episode of the In The Momint podcast. With the launch of the ZAR 1892 proof coin set, Rael, the CEO of Scoin and the South African Gold Coin Exchange, came to visit our offices here in Cape Town. While he was here, Adam, our co-founder and CTO, had a great conversation with him about the launch of the project, alternative investments, and all things gold. I hope you enjoy.
Sweet, Rael. So tell us a little bit about Scoin, the Scoin shop, and the South African Gold Coin Exchange.
So the South African Gold Coin Exchange was founded in 1972, 50 years ago, in fact. And my father at the time was in the army, and he was buying and selling jewelry and paper, knives and forks and artworks, and he started trading some Krugerrands. And 1 or 2 years later, he really was getting into it, and he said, well, I want to take over this company, the Gold Coin Exchange. Only 10 years after that, he did, in fact, take over.
So he didn't start it, he took over the whole...
He took over the Gold Coin Exchange, and at first he tried, but he couldn't get in there, and he made it work eventually. And he knew that the South African Gold Coin Exchange was the market leader in gold coins and numismatics at that time. So it was a no-brainer from a brand point of view. And over the years, he would go and sell and buy coins and meet up with mints and dealers from around the world. What he always found is that gold coin dealers in general could be maybe a little bit closed-offish, standoffish, and they would make you feel like a suspect and not a prospect. And he needed this to change, and over the years he developed ways with a strong team of people, of course, opening up the Scoin shop in the 1999 to make gold and coin collecting inviting and warm and friendly and not too scary. And democratizing gold came from that. That was always the angle. 1 man, 1 ounce, 1 region at a time, making it simple and easy to own gold. So those are the 2 brands that we have. The South African Gold Coin Exchange is the mothership. The Scoin shop is the retail footprint, and the brokerage, the telephone business is all the South African Gold Coin Exchange. And we've partnered up with the biggest mints from around the world who give us exclusive rights to some of the world's most beautiful coins. And we trade with the local markets as well, the retail buyers and sellers in the public. And that's who we are.
Yes, so you guys have done a lot as a family. Congrats. And yeah, I've seen you guys everywhere, all shopping malls, online, advertising Premier League. So yeah, you guys are the real deal. So yeah, congrats to you guys.
No, it's all credit to what my father's achieved. My objective is to push us into the new realm, the future, trying to be innovative and find ways to be all things to more people. Not to everybody, but to more.
Sweet. I'm excited. Weird moment. I'm excited about that because we'll be walking that journey with you. But before we get to the blockchain and technical stuff, let's just get a bit more into coin collecting. So can you just tell us a little about what is numismatics?
Sure. So
if I said that correctly.
You said it right. Let's just try this. Numismatics. It's a tough one. A numismatist is the collector or the professional or somebody who is interested in numismatics, and that is numismatics is any type of coin or medal that can be found from a mint or a country, an issuing currency, or a collectible coin from around the world. This study and this love and passion in collecting numismatics, that's what it is. Numismatics, coins. That's
cool.
It.
Got it. And then, how long have people been collecting coins? Like, what is the timeline that has been in existence? Obviously, it probably dates back to, like hundreds of years ago. But like, when did it really hit mainstream? Why are people collecting them? Tell us a little bit of the history of coin collecting.
Coins have been around for thousands of years, right? The first little Roman little stamp marks and these incredible coins from the empires and the British. And, at the beginning, that was currency. They were trading and bartering with cowries or cows or little chippings of wood or whatever they could do to represent value. And the foundation of money came from these sort of items that could be bartered and traded with. So with gold, it was obvious it was like the mother of all precious metals, and these were stamped and minted, and this carried on through centuries. Obviously, at the time, you wouldn't have wanted to collect it. You maybe didn't know if it was...
that's what I'm saying. Like, when did the tide switch between using it as currency versus collecting? Like, do you think that only started happening, early 20th century? Or?
I think so. When companies like grading companies came about, there was obviously a need to authenticate and confirm that these coins were, in fact, what they were. And collecting is like the sort of... my grandmother passed these down to me, and now I'd like to learn more about that. We get that all the time. People are interested to learn more about what their families have actually collected. And then you get brand new people who say, well, I understand the idea of it, but I don't understand which coin I should start with. Just like you would want to get into art or watches or vintage cars. Coins are very niche and particular, but it's a few hundred years old, and that's so beautiful about it, is you could get a really old coin that's fairly reasonable in price. You can get a brand new modern coin that's just way more expensive, and it takes a lot of time of homework to really get into it.
So Rael, do young people collect coins, or is it just kind of the older generation?
So what we'll find is people who understand they've reached a certain point in their lives where things are more like hobbies to them, and they might have a sentimental, emotional attachment to their families. They had heirlooms, or they opened up their grandfather's safety deposit box and they saw this thing of coins. They become passionate about it. So you might find that 30 or 40-year-old people who might have inherited a family member who's passed on, that could happen, where you get sort of newer guys interested in coins or in alternative assets. They understand the mechanics of coins in general and gold especially, and then they start buying a little bit every single month. The reality is like youngsters, maybe because it's physical and old and historical, would you buy a modern awesome painting like a contemporary artwork, or would you buy like a Rembrandt? Well, if you could afford that Rembrandt, fine, but it's a lot cooler to get a brand new modern contemporary piece of art, and we're trying to shift that as well within the same coin realm.
Awesome. And do you see a trend towards more young people wanting to collect in the future?
Absolutely. Our Scoin shops have been around for over 20 years, and often on the weekends you'll see a family with a child coming in, and the father wants to start them off to the daughter with like a 1/10 Krugerrand, and it's like this bug. It's really might be cliche, but once you touch gold and you feel it in your hands, it makes a big difference. It really like changes your way of thinking, real seeing that gold, and then that bug starts and you can slowly collect over your lifetime. We've definitely seen youngsters, really young to 20, 30-year-olds getting involved, and it's a very strong South African hobby. In general,
I suppose we're sitting on a lot of resources, and it's a proud part of our history.
Sure. So the first ever publicly allowed to be owned gold coin was the Krugerrand. It was made in 1967 for the public to have access to own real gold.
That's amazing, and I think that segues right into my next question, which is, tell us about the 1892 ZAR proof coin set and why it's so special.
So this coin set, as a currency, came out a lot before. Obviously, this is now 1892, right? 130 years ago.
That's
this
crazy.
Coin set came out, and it was regular currency for the locals in at the time. And what happens with a coin set is that they make currency of that coin, and they might make a special amount of what they would call proof coins, which are the collectible sort of commemorative versions. This happens in modern coins right now. That's what Scoin and the Gold Coin Exchange sells. Is there might be a new £5 coin or £2 coin from the British Royal Mint. They will make a gold version and a bronze version, but they will make a base metal version for your pocket, right? Yeah. So it celebrates that milestone forever in the gold, silver, precious metal, and then also the currency. So the same thing happened over 100 years ago. This coin set was there, and it was kept in pristine, incredible condition.
It's amazing.
And like I mentioned, a grading company that can confirm it and authenticate it and grade it at such a high level of condition and matched with its scarcity makes this truly remarkable, one of a kind. Yeah, exactly. The best way to put this is, there is really special artworks in the world. Just imagine that somebody offered you to own a piece of the Mona Lisa. You don't get the whole one, but you can own a piece of it. Owning that is like a special in itself. And we'd like to say that this could be the Mona Lisa of South African coinage, and owning a fraction of this is the angle. The NFT thing, it could be confusing or a little bit if you've never been in cryptocurrencies before, but we're trying to break that ground with you and allow people the opportunity to own a fraction of this. And the fact that you guys, you can pay using credit cards is really amazing. It takes away all that strain of the
complexity.
Crypto.
Yeah.
So that's what the coins are all about.
Sweet. And again, before we get into the technical side, just can you speak a little bit about the value of the coin set? How is that derived? And just what's the approximate value of this coin set in your opinion?
So as a company being around for over 50 years, we've bought and sold hundreds of thousands of coins, special coins, ZRs, coins like that, Krugerrands, and everything in between. When a grading company chooses or does their job to find the perfect condition of the coin, and when you're able to compile it, this is an entire currency set This is an entire currency set. This is showing you the whole denomination. And when you combine that with the rarity and the fact that they're all of such a high grade and they're in pristine condition and safe, if we were to sell this to a client as one person, the value exceeds $1.2 million.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot of money for an individual South African to buy,
Well, the thing is, it is a lot of money. Some could say subjective value. Some could do their own homework and research, and we want people to do that. We want people to look into this and be involved in it. And the reality is yes, it's a lot, but you're getting a tiny piece of it.
Another question of mine is, when you take the coins out of a set, so let's say we took the proof coin set and we just took all the coins and sold them individually, is there a massive difference in the price by having them together or apart?
Not a massive difference, no.
Okay.
The idea is it might be, yes. It's like, let's just say you had a set of prints. I know I'm talking about art, but it's a great
It's a very similar use case, yeah.
William Kentridge, a series of 50 prints, and they're all different, let's just say.
You have all 50.
Have all 50, yeah. It's tremendous. If you have 5 and the other 45 or somewhere else, okay. Yes, 1 plus 1 in this scenario does not equal 2. 1 plus 1...
2.3.
Exactly.
Okay.
1 plus 1 is $1.2 million.
Okay. Sounds fantastic. Cool. So then, let's talk a bit about, how you came in contact with Momint. What inspired you to kind of do a project with us? What was the reasoning? I know the reason we actually contacted you was we've got a coin collector in the office, Isaac, and he's super passionate about them. He's collected many coins from you guys. Once we contacted you, what made you guys want to go ahead with this project?
Well, it was really just absolute luck, because a week before that I'd read about your Mandela arrest warrant that was sold on auction, and it was just out of the blue and perfect timing, because what I've been trying to do is making gold and coins accessible, but finding new ways for people to enjoy them or pay for them. Gold coins are specific and historical references, and I don't want to say boring, but their themes can be like, well, okay, but isn't isn't pop culture cooler or sports cooler than like something that happened 500 years ago? Yes, but it's still incredible, and that history and heritage is really unique. So giving people the opportunity to pay with cryptocurrencies or online, or we store gold for people as well.
Accessibility, opening up a brand new market to of buyers and getting more people excited about coins.
Exactly. Okay. And the idea to fractionalize this remarkable set is, we believe, is groundbreaking and the first of its kind, and the idea that you can own a piece of it, and seeing what you guys had just done and pulled off, knowing that the blockchain technology had to be strong enough to protect the integrity of the set, and also you guys doing so much thorough checks and making sure that this coin set was what we said it was, has been an absolute dream for us. We're really proud of the partnership.
Yeah, us too. I think it's really good when we can start taking credible projects to the blockchain space and actually showing that blockchain is not the scary thing that money disappears. It's actually just how it's done. And if you go with reputable brands like Momint and the Scoin shop and the South African Gold Coin Exchange, you might end up with a great NFT that has value, and you can sell it to the rest of the world, which is fantastic.
Exactly.
And then what do you like, in your opinion, what did we achieve in this project? What was like the thing that you think, if someone had to ask you, what do you think is the most incredible thing about launching this fractionalized coin set?
Being able to take something that's 130 years old and digitize it is really remarkable.
It live on forever.
It lives on forever. But, I've always had I started out having a problem, a worry with NFTs. We've all seen rug pulls and big stories and nonsense images, and we're not going to get into brand names per se, but there's challenges with the NFT space. And we believe that if we could create something that was confirmed, audited, genuine, real, graded, valued by experts, we believe that this has a place in a digital world. And if anyone is worried at all for 1 second about their mutant ape or their flying cockroach NFT, or if they're not worried about that, but they worried about this, they should really just think about this again. This is an absolute, right there in your face coin set. You own a piece of it, right? It's pretty cool.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, that's how we did it. We're super pumped about it. And then just maybe let's talk a bit about how the project works, and I'll start off by just kind of, let's talk about the previous process and the new process. I think maybe that'll be good to highlight. So, let's walk through, like, if you had to buy this coin set currently, let's just say we didn't have blockchain and we had to run through the buying process. What would it look like on Scoin buying this $1.2 million coin set, or even just another coin?
So, look, because of its value, it would be harder to find that person who wanted it. But the reality is, you could come to our shop, and you can swipe your card and we'll give it to you.
And then do you get given like a certificate, or how does that whole process work? Or how do you know you own this thing? Can you come collect it?
So, if you were to own it, you could take it home with you and store it in your home. But the insurance charges, insurance charges, storage charges are really quite remarkable, and especially at that value. But if you had a safe or you wanted us to store it, no problem. Certification of authenticity of that set. The grading companies, PCGS and NGC, confirm what this coin is and what it represents. But if you were to buy a Krugerrand, you would come into the shop and take it home. If you bought a modern collectible coin, you'd get a beautiful box and a certificate, and you can take it home, or we can store it for you. But the pain point is definitely price. And, being able to give away a tiny chunk of this, or even a reasonable chunk of this, for a couple of $100, it's really a no-brainer for someone who knows anything about cryptocurrencies or money in general. This is like OG money. This is like the first coins ever, right? In the sense of money, and now we're living in this world with digital money and being able to send something across the world, and like you want to be part of that history, South African, and even the world.
Yeah, so now the new evolution is that you can fractionalize it with blockchain, give it to as many people as you can possibly do. In this case, it's like 1,500 people can own it. So it's actually sharing that history and putting it back into the world so people can see it, which is like, I don't know, I find incredible. And the fact that we can share South African heritage without it leaving South African soil is also pretty amazing. I mean, a whole bunch of people from different countries can collect this coin set. I just think, if I was a coin collector throughout the world, I mean, you've never really had the opportunity to buy coins very easily throughout the entire planet. So now it's the time for, to share history all over and still retain that history. It's like the Nelson Mandela one for arrest, never left South Africa. The digital version will now be in a metaverse one day to show off to people. This is the same. I think, this will be in a metaverse one day, showing off this coin set. And the one other thing I just want to say, it's so funny how, you always talk about minting coins, and in the blockchain, we've actually minted these tokens onto the blockchain. So it kind of seems like it was meant to be.
This is a full circle, a full
literally is
full evolution of coins, and minting is the process of taking a big fat heavy hydraulic or manual press and just slamming something, and every single coin that is programmed or token that is programmed into the Web3 has been minted, right?
Yeah, so it's basically, we're double minting the things that have already been minted.
Exactly.
it's so
incredible. Cool. So Adam, connecting the traditional collectors of the past to the modern world, what is the best and simplest way you can say what is an NFT?
An NFT is, in this case, a way for people to feel comfortable in the asset they own. So in the traditional sense, you'd maybe store ownership by looking at an Excel spreadsheet or a database where you say, this person owns this asset. In this case, this person owns a percentage of the coin set. But in the blockchain, we create an NFT, which takes the legal document which says you own that percentage of this asset and put it on the blockchain in your blockchain wallet. So if I have a blockchain wallet and I have the NFT, that means I own that percentage of that coin set. And if I want to trade it with anyone in the world, what the blockchain is so amazing is that you can actually I can just do that right now. I don't need a company or anyone to tell me that I can't trade it. I can go into an exchange or an NFT marketplace and I can say, does anyone want to buy my awesome NFT that is a percentage ownership in an asset that has value? Boom. So that's what's special about NFT. It just changes the game in terms of ownership for physical or even digital assets.
Great. Like the idea of the internet coming around and this transfer of information over the years has been remarkable. Information being words, numbers, pictures, even money to the extent that it has. But now this Web 3.0, this new way of looking at the metaverse to some extent is now, can you transfer value from one person to another?
Trusted, generally we've had to rely on banks and institutions that charge hefty fees, and they don't even charge hefty fees. There's just so many people that are sitting in the way of a transaction that causes the expense to be so high. But if you trade peer-to-peer, if I just say, hey man, can I buy your sneakers? And you say yes, and we do a blockchain transaction one-to-one, there's no fees involved there other than a small amount that the blockchains take. So, it's transferring wealth without anyone having to be in the way to anyone in the world extremely quickly. And we've never seen that in the internet ever before.
And, getting into, look, this is one pair of sneakers you can just sell with cash. You can just buy it and sell it to your friend or over the social media platforms. But, being able to fractionalize something of this value, you can't really do that unless you have some kind of trusted way of keeping track of it. And that's exactly what the centralized ledger is. And that's what cryptocurrency is and blockchain technology is all about.
Yeah, 100%. As soon as you have an asset that's worth a ton of money and people see value in collecting or buying into it, you have to fractionalize it. Otherwise, it just sits there and does absolutely nothing, and people can just talk about it. So I think there's no better way to do that right now than with blockchain, provided the entities are reputable. So you don't there's a lot of these kinds of assets sitting all over the world, and as long as it's done by someone that you trust, there's no reason to be fearful of blockchain technology or NFTs, for no reason. There's with any technology, in the early days of the internet, people were saying, oh, people are getting scammed, and it's a terrible and scary place. And that was literally 10, 20 years ago. And now we're going full circle back to a new technology, and people are going, oh, bad things can happen. Of course it can. And that's why you've got to choose the right brands to buy from, the right brands to deal with in the NFT and Web3 and crypto space, in order for you to safely house your assets that you care about. Otherwise, bad things can happen, but it can happen anyway. Yeah, just do it with Scoin In Moment.
Yeah.
So another question I have is, why are alternative assets exciting for a younger generation?
So, I've always been passionate about alternative assets, anything from sneakers to watches to art. And the idea behind it is you can enjoy value, you can get some level of utility, even if you were just staring at that artwork or those sneakers, you didn't actually wear them. And even with coins, you get to hold it and feel it, and there's a tangible element to alternative assets. If you can drive the vintage car, then great. But in traditional markets, you've got stocks, bonds, shares, annuity income products, retirement plans. But I think that the younger generations want more fun. Even the gamification, the way that some of the local and international brands allow you to buy and sell stocks is sort of like in a gambling kind of way. They can't just buy it and hold it for a while. So there's a level of enjoyment that you might not be able to get from traditional investments. Look, it would be naive to say that one should only buy one type of asset.
Yeah, 100%.
There's don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't borrow money for a speculative product. Don't borrow money at all, really, for investing. This is a long-term game. You hold on, you buy because you love it. This is the same with anything. Don't buy because of the hype. Don't buy because of what somebody told you. If you love that artwork, or if you love that thing, you go and you get it. If you
I also think maybe to add on that is not even just if you love it, maybe if you understand it. Because I think for me, there's hundreds of companies. I don't know, intricate details of mining or, about certain industries, and I can't go and invest there. I shouldn't. It would be stupid for me to do that unless I got, advice from someone. But if you really understand a specific asset class, whether you're buying it for investment or not, I mean, that's up for you to decide whether it could be investable. It's just something that, if you're going to buy anything, you don't want to just be buying something that someone told you has value. You need to really be ingrained in a specific ecosystem or thing. And if you know a ton about sneakers, you can make great decisions on sneakers you want to buy. Or if you know a lot about coin collections, you can do that. I can't, So I think what excites me is that there's a whole young generation that have never really invested before. They've never been propositioned alternative investments because before blockchain tech, offering alternative investments is actually too expensive. It's very hard to take a $1.2 million coin set and start a whole company around it, and then someone has to manage that whole process. And if you do that in a more efficient way, now you can start offering these incredible new asset classes and products. And for young people that can actually understand them, it's like coin collection. It's there. If you can read a little about how coin collections are valued, you can understand that. But if it's a company that you have no clue why it has a certain value, and you have to have a lot of knowledge into that, timing of markets, all this kind of stuff, it gets a lot more complicated than certain assets. Even wine, wine is a nice one you can invest in, that if you know everything about certain wine brands, when there was a good year, you can just buy on that notion. You don't have to say it's going to go up by X% or whatever the case is. You can just be I know a ton about wine, I love collecting it, and I can make a great purchase because I want to enjoy it, and potentially it holds value. That's for you to decide.
They just haven't done the tech yet to be able to drink the NFT.
It'll come one day.
Probably.
One other thing that I think is really, really important is that, investing needs to become a little bit more sexy for the younger generation to start adopting. If you look at buying on a normal website as an e-commerce option, you go to the e-commerce site, you click add to cart, you go to cart, you buy, and then afterwards you maybe get like an email or document that's what you get. But in the Web3 kind of world, you see this amazing token, it's animated, it's like, in this case for the proof set, we've 3D modeled it, you can see it, it's like, it's this whole video, you get hyped about this whole product, you buy it right then and there, and it's in your blockchain wallet. So it's quite a tight connection of that ownership to you, and you can actually walk around with it everywhere, and it's something that you can actually say, I own this thing, I'm proud of owning this thing. You can show your friends, instead of like that Web 2 experience, which there's nothing wrong with it, I'm not saying there is, but the additional flair of NFTs is that you can actually make that buying experience more understandable and really exciting for buyers, no matter the asset class.
And in this case, you guys said you were interested to work with us, and the idea that not only can you see it on your phone, is if you get the silver or gold tier, you can actually come and see it
100%.
In the flesh. It's yours to come and see. And the sort of old geezers might say, why don't I just take a screenshot of that? And that's nonsense, right? Well, you could have a poster of the Mona Lisa, or you could own the Mona Lisa. But they're two different things.
And in this case, it's even more apparent, because if you take a screenshot, you don't have the percentage equity in the coin set, and you can't view it. So take the screenshot, go show whoever you want, and they're not going to let you to see the coin set, and they're not going to allow you to sell it. So
exactly.
This is actually a really good use case for people to start understanding that NFTs are not just JPEGs, and that screenshotting this NFT means nothing. Literally, actually, it does nothing for you.
So something to clarify is NFTs is the technology behind, in this case, fractionalizing this incredible coin set. But it's a bit complicated in the back, but in the front, you're buying a piece of this incredible set. Easy as pie. Click the link, go and get it, and just start slowly, do your homework, speak to us, speak to you guys, do some homework, read the white paper, come into our stores, and let's talk to you about this coin set, and maybe you'll learn more about coins and other history.
And about NFTs, which is, that's
exactly.
Yeah, it's amazing. Let's maybe talk a bit about how we launched this project, what do some of the decisions that we made in terms of, creating NFTs, how many, and fractionalizing this coin set. So I think let's just start with, the fact that we broke it up into 3 tiers. So we've got gold, silver, and bronze. So Rael, just tell us a little about those sections. So maybe we just start with bronze. What does bronze get you? How much does it cost? And why did we create 1,200 versions of the bronze?
So we wanted to appeal to different categories, or beginner, medium, and advanced in a way. Somebody who understands it or can afford it. The idea of splitting it up into these bite-sized chunks was giving access to somebody who wanted to start out, or somebody in crypto who wanted to learn more about it. And at $200, without any real gas fees associated, we thought this was a great entry. For the crypto world, it's quite a reasonable figure. For the coin world, it's very reasonable to start out and have a little piece of the set for a couple of $1,000, but $200, great. It's really
200 versus 1.2 million.
Exactly.
It's a lot better. And then the silver, what pricing does that sit at?
So when we look at our average spend of a collector who Krugerrands are 30,000 rand, proof Krugerrands could be 45 to 50,000 rand, and these coin sets around the world trade at pretty good premiums. This price point of $2,800 was right, and the amount of them, 300 units only, is still like extremely small in the sense of sort of collectability and rarity. Look, you own the whole set or a fraction of the whole set, but that amount in that category is a very small number. And
100%.
going on to gold, it's even smaller at only 10 units available. And, this is for the premium collector, premium crypto person who wants to take a big smack at this. But let's be honest, if people have made millions in crypto over the years, or they were early adopters, this would not be really much of a investment for them. It would be a nice little chunk, and that is for $12,000. It's nothing to gawk at in the sense of real big dog stuff, but at the same time, that's
serious money for
it's
the average
serious.
Joe,
It's serious money, and there's 10 of them available, and we're really proud of the way we split it up. We didn't make 10,000 of these. We fractionalized this to 1,510.
And those are the only editions available. The South African Mona Lisa coin set equivalent.
Exactly.
And you're not going to be able to get them again once they're sold out.
Exactly.
It's one of a kind.
And, to touch on value, some people might say this pair of sneakers isn't worth 20,000 Rand or 100,000 Rand if you get something really special. And if you don't feel like this works for you, if this isn't something that appeals to you, then fine. There'll be other projects that tickle your fancy. So, learn about it, understand it, come and speak to us. And we really believe that these price points for all types is perfect. And in the gold tier, you get a half-ounce Krugerrand when you buy one of those 10 sets. Today, that's between 15 and 20,000 Rand. That's on us. That goes into the storeroom with us, the safe gold storage. And if you live in South Africa, you can redeem it. Internationally, it gets a bit tricky, but it will be in your name and attached to your NFT.
Awesome. And then let's talk, obviously that's the fractionalization point, but now, where's this coin set, where's it housed, and, just, is it insured, maybe talk us through kind of those sides of this project.
So for obvious reasons, we shouldn't tell you where it is. Exactly. But it's in an extremely safety deposit box in an extremely safe precinct in Johannesburg.
That was a test, by the way. I was just checking that you weren't going to tell anyone.
No, and we got an amazing team of auditors to confirm its whereabouts, the process of where we stored it and how we stored it, and it's all part of the NFT and the white paper. You can go and confirm it, and you can reach out to the auditors themselves to confirm its authenticity and where it's stored, fully insured. We have a network of 10 shops around the country, and we've housed and stored gold for many thousands of people in South Africa. So we understand the physical part of holding coins, the dangers of them, of storing them in your home, under your bed. These are the things we don't want. We want to store it for you and look after it for you. And like we said, if you've got the silver or gold tier, come and look at it. Come and view it yourself. You have every right to.
Oh, that sounds, there's no doubt not to trust. And even more so, NFT Auditors, who's a local South African company, has also audited the coin set independently. So, there's 3 parties involved here, making sure that this thing is real, secure, safe. It is what it is, and the owners really own it. So I don't think anyone can question the authenticity, which is fantastic. Which is unlike many other projects,
Yeah,
so.
We want that as well. You don't want to just chop it up into pieces and issue it out. Moment have gone above and beyond to create these levels of trust and credibility and reliability for our brand and yours, and it just sort of confirms it. And our clients, or anybody for that matter, should just feel comfortable that you own a piece of something real. We're offering it to you to come view it, and again, comparing it to a image or JPEG, I really don't see any way that these are on the same planet at the moment.
No, these are different type of NFTs. These aren't visual NFTs, they're asset NFTs.
Exactly.
So Rael, obviously not to tout our own or toot our own horn, but we pride ourselves at Momint in launching reputable projects that are often backed by real companies doing real things that aren't in question. So what was it like working with us from launching a project? Obviously you've never launched an NFT project before. What is your experience like? What is your recommendation to other people to try potentially launch by themselves, or do you think it's necessary to go through a company that can really help you along the way?
Absolutely. I mean, there are tons of new developers coming every day, and they learn about Photoshop algorithms that allow you to create 10,000 images with different hats and sunglasses. The realities of this are far more complex. The amount of effort and attention to detail that went behind confirming the authenticity alone, the idea of the credibility and the auditors was wonderful. So obviously from a tech point of view, you guys were leading the charge and creating something that we believed in. When partnering up with you, it was about the tech, the people behind the project, and the reliability, credibility that you wanted to associate yourself with. And giving people or developers or brands the opportunity to do this, you need to be careful. You as a brand need to do your homework. You can't just chop up something and sell it, and like maybe people would think we have done with this, but it's just far more robust, and we've loved every step of the way. The efficiencies, the team that you have here, the weekly meetings, it didn't happen overnight. We've been planning this for a couple of months now, and as a company that has older mentalities or traditional business practices, trying to convince our board to go on this journey it wasn't that tough. The information you gave us was enough, and explaining how the NFTs work was enough, and the board said this is a great idea. But sticking a brand new iPhone with software from 15 years ago doesn't work. So we had to raise our game for this, and you guys had to understand that traditional assets are out there, and together we've stuck this thing perfectly, and we know this is going to work and that we can do future projects together.
Talking about this project is now segueing us into the future and what projects we'll do next. So Rael, is there anything you're excited about from your side and new projects that you think we could launch together?
I'm sure there are. I think we got to munch this one and make some big things happen. There are so many unique projects out there, some similar, but fractionalizing gold or fractionalizing other coin sets, or even making single coins attached to NFTs, creating connections between buyers and sellers using digital or smart contracts. I mean, the opportunities are endless. We want to go in that direction, and still remaining true to our beliefs and our mission of allowing everyone to own a little piece of gold in their lifetime, or anything for that matter. This is just the beginning. Young, old and new, we know we can do this and take this to the moon.
Sweet, I'm excited and can't wait.
As am I.